Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast. I'm your host, Anish Gupta.
And I'm Srikar Ajendran.
We're back, another week recap and another NFL Sunday where I had to gouge my eyes out watching the Cleveland Browns in fashion lose. And, of course, Srikar also had a sad week. Hey, what did we say?
I didn't.
Trap game,
no.
ATL.
Oh, I did not have a sad week at all.
We'll get to what happened. We'll get to what happened in a little bit because
this was one of the greatest weeks of my life.
Yeah, even though Atlanta, as I was rooting for, not a bad team, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, one of our weekends was definitely made up for yesterday, and mine continues to be somber, but it's all good. Something that is not somber and something that will not make your pigskin somber is our sponsor for today's video, as always, brought to you by Manscaped. With the NFL season in full swing, not right around the corner now. Again, you kind of want to be afraid of if your favorite player gets cut during the year, maybe gets shaved off the roster,
maybe gets traded to the Niners.
Yeah. It's the absolute worst, and that's why we've got our sponsor here, Manscaped, here to help not, kind of your roster with that hair down there. So, you're going to kind of have to cut it off, so that's why Manscaped is here with their Lawnmower 4.0. Craftsmanship is next level. It's the ultimate groin and body hair trimmer. It features a ceramic blade that Srikar recently used and said he had a great performance with. So it's got some advanced skin safe technology that'll leave your skin glowing. And again, with the wireless charging, makes the battery last longer. They've got other amazing products like their Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, the ball deodorant, and t-shirts and boxers. Manscaped is already the below-the-waist grooming partner of the San Francisco 49ers, who might be interviewing a special someone on the pod day. But join over 2 million men worldwide who trust this amazing company. And what's the code, Shriek, that you could use?
CHT20.
Yes, indeed. CHD20, 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job at Manscaped. Now go grab yourself that Lawnmower 4.0 and then come back here because we've got some great things to talk about. Starting off with literally on Thursday night at around 8 p.m. Pacific, I was actually taking a midterm and I walk out of there and I see just a flood of 250 messages on my phone. And usually it's not going to, something must have happened for that to go off. And I'm like, what could have possibly happened? And of course I see, one of my favorite players who I constantly defend on this channel get traded to the 49ers I didn't really think it was going to actually happen. It did. CMC is now a San Francisco 49er, which is crazy to think about. And I know Srikar must have been booming with excitement. I mean, a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth, I believe, was the package. The fifth is going to be 2024, and the rest are going to be for next year. But, hey, Christian McCaffrey is a 49er, and that, kind of ruins my Jeff Wilson fantasy stock. But, hey, Shriek, I'll let you start off. Even though I might work for. And remember, if I ever do get a job and Srikar annoys me, in the comments, you should tell me which guy I should bring on so we can ruin the Niners season. But Srikar, go ahead. What were your thoughts on this blockbuster move?
So Anish didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen. I was on that train pretty much the whole time. You go back in every single CHT chat begging John Lynch to make this happen. And oh my God, on Thursday night, I was lying in bed. I was pretty much about to call it a night. I look at my phone and I see Stunner and I see Christian McCaffrey in the same tweet. So I'm thinking, Rams, Bills, not us. I click on the tweet and it says Niners. And I'm thinking, no, it's a fake account. There's no way.
This the whole story.
It's not a fake account. It's Adam Schefter. And when I tell you I screamed inside a dorm room, I screamed inside a dorm room. I mean, people might think I'm crazy, but oh my God, I was so excited. Now, that being said, I'm not gonna be, super duper non-critical Srikar here. I'm actually gonna give my thoughts, but it is very exciting, right? So you said it, the Niners got him for second, third, and fourth round picks this year, along with a fifth round pick next year. It is a massive price to pay, but This gives us the best offensive trio in football, in my opinion. When you include George Kittle and Deebo Samuel with CMC,
Okay.
I think it's the best.
Okay.
Can you name one better? Like,
all right, I thought you were gonna include my boy Jimmy in there, but
no,
I'm kidding.
no,
I'm
that
kidding.
soils the
I'm
whole.
kidding. No, I mean, trio wise, like,
let's say on paper, because we haven't seen them play a game yet, and let's assume. I'll get into it in a bit, but again, hefty cost, and it also means a full-blown fire sale in Carolina's underway. We're going to touch on them too. I'm going to start with the Niners, though. You factor in San Francisco's now without a draft pick this year until the 3rd round, and without those comp picks, the 5th round, essentially wiping out half your draft class, like young players on cheap deals. But you will probably have 3/3 if Ryans becomes a head coach. So that's enough ammo if you do want to trade up, if you want to make some moves. The Niners still have 9 picks in this draft, so you have some flexibility there. And the Niners have a good history drafting late, so I'm not really worried about that. And there's really not that many holes on the roster that would require a higher pick. I feel like they can get it. They can make
secondary
it work.
O-line. Sorry.
Okay, we have a cornerback 1. We have 2 amazing safeties. Cornerback 2. That can be solved. That can be solved with 9 picks, right? Name one more hole. Interior O-line, Burford and Aaron Banks are playing really well. Center, I understand. Banks is not allowed a sack all year.
But he's hurt.
No.
He's not playing.
He's playing.
Banged up, no?
Aaron Banks is playing.
Today? This week?
Yeah. Aaron Banks is playing, and Burford.
That changes a little bit.
Burford's been playing really well, too. I understand Brendel at center, but he's been holding up fine. If you want to spend a pick there and get younger, then that's fine. But as for my McCaffrey's financial cost, he's coming here with only a $1 million injury guarantee for this year. No other guaranteed money. We can cut bait whenever we want if things do end up going sideways, or you can pay the full cost of 3 years and $36 million, which is why I actually love this move. It's not a rental. He's under contract until 2025. So this was made with the future in mind too, and Trey Lance. But it's an all-in move by John Lynch. He understands that this team needs to be damn near perfect around Jimmy Garoppolo. And the question is, people are asking, was this the right way to push all the chips forward? Because in Kyle Shanahan's system, running backs have consistently found a good amount of success. And obviously, when you bring in a guy as talented as Christian McCaffrey, I mean, it's just going to be supercharged. But, people are asking the question, would the Niners have been better holding on to those picks and building around Trey Lance? I mean, he should be starting again next season. And for McCaffrey's part, he is the best all-around back in the NFL when healthy. All right, let's get that right. Despite playing on a horrible Panthers team, he's on pace for 1,000 rushing yards, nearly 5 yards a carry, nearly 800 receiving yards with 8 total touchdowns. I think those numbers are going to rise because he is surrounded by terrific coaching, a good supporting cast. But still, the cost and draft compensation and your cap flexibility, because think about all the guys the Niners got to bring back too. It's significant, especially considering his injury history. So bottom line, Niners are going for broke. Could bank drop him later, but I'm not too worried. And obviously, if it ends up in a bowl, we're not going to have questions at that point. And I'll touch on the Panthers a little bit. I mean, they're done. They're finished. It's an obvious decision. Like, Scott Fitterer knows what he's doing, because now you got to listen to offers for Brian Burns, for DJ Moore, and they're not going to be cheap. Fitterer might be done with trades based off what he got from the Niners, but they're all available. And this team could be headed for the number 1 pick. CJ Stroud in Carolina, I could see it. They should be stockpiling draft picks. You get off to a great start with the McCaffrey deal, but if you're getting good offers on Burns and Moore, I mean, maybe you don't want to stop there, because picks are really valuable for a team like this. And if you're trying to gauge, the value of Carolina's talent, obviously the biggest price would be for Burns. I don't know if they're going to let him walk because he's cheap, really good. He is the building block for that defense with a rebuild on the way. So if a team wants him, Fitterer would probably want like a first-round pick and then some, rightfully so. But man, for the Niners, I am so excited, and I really, really hope this works out. Sorry if I rambled a little bit, but I'll let you talk.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I know I work for Cal, and Christian went to Stanford, but I am his biggest fan. Like, this guy he's never been appreciated enough for how good he really is. And I still think he is the most valuable back in football. I know Nick Chubb can, people will throw him out there as the best, which, I'm not complaining about, but this guy is insane at everything. Pass blocking, he's great. Receiving, he is otherworldly. And then obviously running the football in between the tackles, outside the tackles, B gap, C gap, D gap, A gap. He does it all. And I was a little bit weirded out just because I think they've been pretty effective with Jeff Wilson, and the Niners know how to use different backs. I mean, we've seen a handful of guys, right? Mostert, Coleman, Hasty, Jeff Wilson, right? Like we've seen so many guys in the last few years that have just kind of made it work, right? And now you got to think about on offense where, is Debo going to be lining up more now on the outside than he will be in the backfield? And then also you got to think about, hey, do you maybe switch out McCaffrey in the slot, put Debo in the slot? I think those two are going to rotate in those type of positions. I think schematically it's going to be very, very fun for Kyle Shanahan. I think this is going to be a really cool thing that we're going to see. Picks wise, I think the Panthers should keep Brian Burns. I'm very adamant on that. I don't care how bad your team is. You have a building block there, and I think you got to keep him. DJ Moore, I think, is expendable, especially with that contract. You 100% got to get rid of him, and I think a team like Green Bay or Chi-Town would take a chance. David Tepper is really aggressive, but the Panthers kind of formula has been, right, back in 2010, they clearly tanked, and then they got Cam Newton in 11. They thought they were going to get Luck. Luck decided to stay, but, they got Cam was a pretty good consolation prize. Same kind of thing in 2019, right? After the loss to the Niners, they cleaned house. Rivera was out. Defensive coordinator was out. They lost their final 8 games. I see a similar trend here. I think Carolina's in full-on rebuild. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I would say this about CMC, though, with the deal. I think it's great just because he's under contract, as you said, 2025, 16 mil, I think, per year, which, sure, it's a little steep tag,
12.
but 12? Okay. 16 with incentives.
Mm-hmm.
The Niners roster is amazing. Like, I think I said this, right? With Jimmy Garoppolo, this is a Super Bowl contender. I stand by that. And, yeah, I mean, if, Trey were to come back next year, I think McCaffrey is probably the best running back for a quarterback just because of how good of a safety blanket he is. So maybe Trey Lance can actually become a competent passer. Who knows? But great deal. I mean, I think this is awesome. It's just going to finally give, CMC that national recognition that has been a little bit lacking. I know people know how good he is, but yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think the Niners low key kind of locked up the division with that move. Like I don't see LA doing. I mean, unless LA can find it together, not really. Maybe the Cardinals with D-Hop. Seattle, Arizona, and LA are all in this just flux, and I think the Niners are the only one with a steady, headfast kind of trajectory. Mm-hmm. Can't keep dropping these games though. Can't keep dropping these games to Atlanta. They always do this. They always come in with like a weird losses in the regular season, come in with a bad record, and then they surprise.
We both saw it coming too. I mean, they were so beat up. We're getting healthier though. I mean, we should be.
Oh yeah, I mean they need it. I think once Trenton comes back, Bosa's fully healthy.
They're all cleared to play, so yeah, we'll see.
See how it goes. Well, let's move on. I mean, big dub for Christian McCaffrey. It's just weird seeing two of my favorite players on the same team. But all right, moving on. Jack really wanted to come on. Unfortunately, he couldn't come on today, but we'll talk about it for him. The New York Jets. Wow. I never in a million years would have thought that through their hard part of the schedule, they would be 4-2 right now as the 5th seed in the AFC. And it's funny. Jack, back in August when Zach Wilson got hurt with the non-contact injury, he was like, "All right, boys, it's over. I don't care. I'm becoming a
Chargers fan now."
Oh, and then when the Jets do well, all of a sudden, I told y'all the Jets are great. I love toying with him, but yeah, I mean the win against Green Bay. Whew, like that was a real impressive thing. I was scared when Jack switched to New York and said, "Hey, I'm going to take the Jets," and I was like, "Dude, no way they lose at Lambeau." They lost at Lambeau. I mean, they won with Zach Wilson, I think, having less than 150 passing yards. Their defense, I think, has always been the best part of their team for the last 4 years. I think it's really coming together with these young guys. Like I think they have a really good mix. I love veterans like LaMarcus Joyner, Quan Alexander there. And they've got so many young guys who are finally kind of coming into their own. Obviously Sauce Gardner. But when they throw these guys out like Jermaine Johnson, who I know he's been in and out of the lineup, but Quinnen Williams, like they've just got this great combo. And one thing I heard from Colin Cowherd was that they just play with this like unspeakable form of energy that they play together, right? Like you could clearly see with like the Packers, right? It's not as much of a team over there, right? Like Aaron Rodgers constantly referring to himself as like this team plays together. Like I think this defense, even Sauce was kind of mentioning how they bond together off the field a lot. I think that's a real deal. And I think for a team who, may not be the best looking on paper, if they play together, they really have a good chance. And I think Robert Saleh's really got this team going. I remember we had him on the hot seat kind of last year, but I mean, it's looking really good.
Yep.
I think this. Jack actually asked me, and if there are any Jets fans watching this, can they make the playoffs? If they get 2 wins out of 4 versus New England and Buffalo, I'm here to tell you that the Jets will make the playoffs. But that's a caveat. That's an important one. But yeah,
it's like I'm so used to the Jets just being an afterthought that where it's like you just see him and it's like, it's a bye week, we got it. Now it's like, I mean, they sacked Rodgers 4 times. They allowed 6 yards per attempt. Rodgers had a 17.0 QBR. I mean, and they're also limited to 60 rushing yards on 3 yards per carry. I mean, this defensive unit it's as you said, it's a lot of youth, totally revamped. I mean, but they are gaining so much confidence with every game they play. Yes, the Jets still have offensive issues in my mind. There are a couple of potential stars. You look at Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, but quarterback is still a concern to me. I mean, Zach Wilson was just 10 of 18, 110 yards. That's not going to get the job done against most good teams, but it's missing the point. Right here, we're about to talk about the Jets, being good again. Like, they have always been a joke, and now, times have changed. The Jets and the Giants, they're bringing football back to New York, and being in Syracuse at the time where you're surrounded by Giants and Jets fans, I mean, it's so wild how it's just so much has changed.
I think you brought up a really good point about Zach Wilson, though. And it's, I was high on him coming into the draft. I had him as QB2, but you're right. Like, this is not I feel like this is just not a sustainable formula. Like, your offense can't play like this. And we've seen games where the Jets defense has really, kind of been inconsistent, especially to start the year, but they're coming into their own now, right? Like that's what's important. I mean, obviously, you give up 30 points to Cleveland and, I guess the Baltimore kind of ran on them towards the end of the fourth quarter, but now this is where, this stretch is really going to matter and their schedule gets a lot easier. I mean, this was supposed to be their hard stretch, right? They had the entire AFC North and then they were supposed to play Green Bay. Like, I think things are only going to look up for this team. Oh, yeah, Miami was also one that we thought maybe would have been a loss, but hey, I don't know how sustainable it is, and like I said, I can't really say for sure they will make it, but I think their 2 biggest tests will be New England and Buffalo, because I wanted to touch on the other AFC East teams real quick. This division, which people were kind of scared could be just a 2-team race, all 4 teams are really good. All 4. I think Miami with Tua back, he's coming back this week, I think is going to be a great force as we saw first 3 weeks in. Buffalo is Buffalo, right? And New England, people keep writing them off. I know Shriek was pretty low on him coming in. I also had him at like 8 and 9. I didn't anticipate a winning season, but man, I mean, they look really good. I think New England is a team that just you can't write off. Like they, especially last couple weeks, how their defense has been playing, you can't write this team off. So yeah, I think the AFC East has all 4 teams that are playoff contenders. I think it's pretty okay to say that. The Jets are the ones that scare me the most in the sense of their offense. But yeah, man, I think the AFC East is back. Like, this is really crazy.
Yeah, to touch on those teams, I mean, we talk about New England. They got the Bears coming to Foxborough on Monday night. I think that's going to be a win for them. I'll spoil that pick ahead of time.
Think that's going to be a win? Go on, man.
Yeah, the Bears aren't beating Belichick in his house, but there's a great chance. The Patriots are 4-3 after this weekend. And if you're Bill Belichick, you look at the QB room. I feel like Belichick strikes me as one of those guys that will stick with Zappe even when Mac Jones is
100%. And we'll talk about this after on Monday. I think
I'm going to tell you, this is nothing like the Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott thing to me. Because I'm not high on Mac Jones, okay?
This is
I like Bailey Zappi.
I think Bailey's got some of the best footwork I've seen from a young QB. I think this is a convo we'll have next week, but 100% I'm with you. I mean, yes, Mac had a good year his rookie year, but dude, Belichick is not afraid to ride with a hot hand, and I think he should, right? You've got
Zappy's just running the offense better.
It's so much smoother with him, and I think, we've seen him do it once. I think we can see him do it again. So let's see. But I think this is a conversation we'll have next week.
And even the Dolphins, they started 3-0, got hurt. Now you're 3-3. And the good news is 5 very winnable games ahead. I could see them at 8-3, like genuinely.
Yeah. So this is a really good division. I think this is another, this is a good race we're going to see. Staying on the East, the NFC East, another good two divisions we really did not anticipate being this good. It's so ironic. The NFC West, who we always fear, the best team is 3-3. The AFC North, the division we always fear, the best team is 3-3. I mean, the NFL just works in so many mysterious ways. The Eagles Cowboys game, Cooper Rush got humbled. And any faith I had in Cooper Rush, a lot of it went down. I still think he ran the offense better than Dak did a lot of the times, but
sure.
Yeah, I think the Eagles really got to him there. Dak is online to start this week, so I can't remember who they play. I think it's Detroit. So they've got it's a good game to kind of come back for, right? You don't want to throw them into Philly, that type of environment. Any thoughts on the game? What was biggest takeaway from that?
I mean, it kind of just reaffirmed, two things to me. One, the Eagles are the most complete team in the NFC, and they're the best team in the NFC. And second, for every single person that told me Cooper Rush was going to take Dak Prescott's job.
Who told you that?
I don't know. Maybe a guy by the name of Anish Gupta told me that.
I didn't say he would take his job, but yes,
you at least thought he would make it interesting, and I shut it down from the 100%. I shut it down from the get-go. You know this.
Keep going. I'll counter.
But I mean, if we peek into the future here, the Eagles are probably going to win the division. You got an easy schedule. You already got a win over the Cowboys, and along with Buffalo and Kansas City, I mean, there's a real case that Philly is the best squad in the NFL through 6 weeks. And on the other hand, the Cowboys, you're 4-2, you're in third place of the East. But again, you should finally be getting Dak Prescott back. They still have the Giants and Eagles at home, and their first place schedule doesn't matter as much now because the Packers are left as one of their extra games to play. And Dallas also plays the Lions and Bears at home over the next 2 weeks, and then you go into the bye, so you'll probably be 6-2. So, I mean, it's just, who would have thought the NFC East would look good for 3 playoff teams? If you ask me right now, they're going to send 3 playoff teams. That is because the Giants, I mean, they need to be taken seriously. Packers and Ravens wins over the past 2 weeks. They look like a serious playoff contender. That coaching staff, Brian Daboll, Mike Kafka, Wink Martindale. I mean, we've said it since the offseason. This is a hell of a coaching staff. I didn't think it would produce this good of a return in year 1, but yeah, if you had to ask me right now, I think the NFC East is sending 3 playoff teams.
So I came in actually having all 4 NFC East teams over 7 wins. But I had the Giants at 4. You're right. I didn't expect this type of, how do I say this? I didn't expect it to work this quick, right? But I think it was safe to say that, we loved all the moves coming in.
Yeah.
But the way they're winning, they're not using the outside. The receivers are Richie James, right? And Jacob Bellinger is a tight end. What are they throwing out there, right? They're winning in such a unique way. It's really similar how the Jets and Giants are playing. It's funny to me, but yeah, first of all, I'll address the Cooper Rush thing. The Eagles have a formula. They take the lead and they make sure you don't come back. Cooper Rush is the only quarterback to at least have had 2 scoring drives, 2 touchdown drives in a row versus Philly. It just was not enough because, again, Philly in the fourth quarter did what they did. Best rushing attack in football. So I don't think – I know Cooper Rush had some stragglers with the whole the picks. That was pretty bad. But give him some credit on the 2 touchdown drives. But I think what needs to be said is he did his job. He exceeded his job. No one in their right mind would have had Dallas at 4-2 right now after Dak's injury. So he did his job. I think that's what matters. The Eagles, as you mentioned, are the most complete team. I think they are well and beyond set up to be the number one seed in the NFL, or sorry, in the NFC. It's really hard for me to see another team taking it, just because the NFL, especially the NFC, has a lot of parity inside. Also, the one team I thought that could do it was Minnesota, and they have the tiebreaker. So um, I think this division is really good. The Giants, you're right, need to be taken seriously. I think it's, in a way, it's like they're finding different ways to win. So, you got to give them credit there. I don't know if they're going to make it to the playoffs. Like I think there's just a lot of time left. We've got so many teams that are 3-3 and 2-4, right? They're right on this cusp, which is why I don't want to, say the Giants and Cowboys are necessarily locks, but the NFC East has 3 really good teams. And I think that's, again, something we did not expect out of the 2 East divisions. So, good stuff on both of them. But yeah, I mean, maybe if I'll ask, all right, out of the Cowboys, the Giants, the Jets, okay, this is going to be, hear me out. Cowboys, Giants, Jets, Patriots, and Dolphins. 5 teams, right? Which do you think make it and which ones don't?
Cowboys, Giants make it.
Okay.
That's 2. What were the other 3 teams?
Jets, Dolphins, Patriots. So that's the...
I'm going to say Dolphins.
Okay.
I'm going to say Jets.
Okay. Now,
I'm a little iffy on the Jets. That's subject to change. I think the Pats have a better chance than the Jets. I think the Dolphins have a better chance, so I'd go those 2. And I need to, I'm still concerned about Dak Prescott. I just am. So I can't say the Cowboys are a lock. Wow. I actually do think the Cowboys have a win over the Giants. They have the Lions this week and the Bears next week. So you're at 6-2, and you still
that's why since the schedule is so easy for both of them.
Yeah,
and the Giants got over their 2 tough ones. I'll say yes, I'll bite it, but I'm way less confident than I think you are on Dallas. And then also,
I still like Dallas
with the Jets. I'm very confident on the Patriots. I think this is a team that we need to fear again. And
I gotta tell you though, the NFC is really weird in that there is such a big drop off. You have the Eagles, and then it's literally everyone else.
Well, here's the thing.
The Niners.
So if Dallas and New York make it, right? Well, yeah, okay. You've got the Niners winning the div. Who gets that last spot, right? Green Bay. Because I think Minnesota is going to kind of run away with this thing. I mean, Green Bay, do they get it? There's a little bit of a caveat there, right?
It's just the conference sucks.
Yeah,
it's just what it is. I mean, I like that it's open, but at the same time,
open in a bad way.
It's open in a very, very bad way.
So hey, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, big credit to those teams, because man, did not expect this. I remember when Zach went down and the Jets had this type of schedule, everyone was seeing 0-6 in their future. But nope, they're 4-2.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We're done with recapping the week. Let's go on to our fantasy start and sits. Srikar, why don't you start us off?
So my start this week is not Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce against Tennessee. He had a good game on Thursday Night Football against the Broncos. He caught the game winner this past week. I think it's clear to me he's building a solid rapport with Matt Ryan, and I think he continues to ball out against the Titans this week. So Alec Pierce is my start. My sit is going to be James Robinson against the Giants. It's pretty clear now that Travis Etienne is the primary back for Jacksonville. Robinson had a great start to the season, but he's just tailed off over the past few weeks, and the Giants also have a nice run defense. We just talked about him, so I'd sit James Robinson this week. So my start's Alec Pierce, sit is James Robinson.
All right, my start of the week. I know this is I'm usually the sleeper guy. I don't really bring big names. It's actually going to be a guy who's pulling up to our game next week, Justin Herbert. Now, because I feel like a lot of people sat him the last couple of weeks just because of the injury and how bad he's looked. But I believe he plays Seattle, and I think Seattle kind of shut down Arizona, but it's hard to do that type of performance again. And I think this has got to be a Herbert bounce back. I think Keenan's going to finally come back this week too. I don't know. I just can't imagine a scenario where Herbert plays 5 straight, just subpar Herbert games. You know what I mean? So Start of the week, Justin. And then my sit of the week is actually going to be Terry McLaurin versus Green Bay. I'm a little bit iffy on how Heineke, is going to come in, and also, he's got a tough matchup with the Packers defense, so I'm going to sit him.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Our favorite segment, you know it, you love it. Weekly picks. We're already at week 7, bro. Can you believe that? What the hell, man? Like,
it's crazy.
Week 7 out of 7 out of 18. But like, dude, we're almost at the halfway point, and that's crazy to even fathom. But yeah, week 7 picks. Shriek, you want to recap it and start us off?
Okay, since we're recording this on a Friday, everyone picked up a win last night for the Cardinals game. We all picked
Including
Arizona.
the fans?
Including the fans. Last time I checked, it was 50-50, so normally I'd give it to spread, but I think fans are going Cardinals here. So if we look at the standings, Jack is still in first. He's at 60 wins. Second is 61 wins now. Fans are second with 59 wins, and both of us are tied at 56. Yeah. So I was able to make up some ground last week.
Thank you.
But it is
selling.
It's a big win, or sorry, not a big week for picks. Let's start off with the Falcons and the Bengals. Don't sleep on the Falcons. They have covered the spread every week thus far. I mean, if you're Calvin Ridley, okay, I won't go there. Cincinnati should win, in my opinion, because they're more talented, got a better quarterback. But just like last week, it's not going to be easy when you're playing Atlanta. So I'm going to take the Bengals cautiously, but yeah, since he's the pick.
So the Falcons at home look really good, and on the road they look really different. This one's a tough one, right? Like I think Cincy had a really good win in New Orleans, right, for their morale, and I think they kind of bring that over and carry it over. So give me Cincy here, but Atlanta, man, hey, Arthur Smith, where are all those Arthur Smith haters at? Because I told you 7-2 in one possession games is not a fluke. So yeah, give me the Bengals here, but I think the Falcons have got something going with this team.
Falcons definitely have a creative offense. I'll admit I was wrong about them, but let's see. I'll let you kick this one off. Ravens, Browns.
You know what's crazy? Last year, I couldn't stop picking Cleveland. This year, I have not picked them in damn near every game. This is like, how do I pick them? How do I pick such a porous unit that you can't, right? Like, just last time we won in Baltimore was 2019. I was a damn junior in high school. So, yeah, give me the Ravens here. It really sucks that I have to keep doing this, but yeah.
All right. So, the Ravens, they're all about blowing big leads in the second half. But it's really tough to do that when Jacoby Brissett is the other team's quarterback. So I'm also going to pick Baltimore here. Not hard given the state of the Browns right now, but who knows? I think you're just holding out hope for Watson, seeing what happens there.
4 straight losses. A month without a victory.
Yep. Let's move on here. Detroit and Dallas. Jack is taking Dallas. He hasn't put all his picks in. He's taking Dallas. I think we're going to see a ton of points in this one. Obviously, Prescott's coming back. The Detroit offense is involved. Problem for the Lions is their defense is also involved. So I'm going to take Dallas here.
You said their defense is also involved.
Yeah.
That was a good one. All right. I'm going with Dallas. Well, for a different reason. The Lions are just more hurt. But yeah, okay. Yes, also
their defense is a straight up sieve. Like, it's terrible.
All right, yeah, I'll go with Dallas too.
Packers, Commanders. Who you got?
It's funny. The Commanders played them pretty tough last year with Heineke. But I'm going with the Pack. You've got to rebound here. There's no way.
You've been saying that for weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, well, they were 3-1, right? And then they lost to the Giants and the Jets back to back. So I don't know. There's if they lose this one here, then it's panic mode. But I don't think so.
Yeah, if the Packers can't win this game, you hit every single panic button in the room. So yeah, I'm also gonna pick Green Bay. Now an interesting divisional matchup. The Colts and the Titans, which a few weeks ago we probably would have thought this game would have sucked, but now it's suddenly very interesting. Who are you gonna? Or actually, I'll start here. The Titans are well rested off their bye week, and you're welcoming in one of the worst offenses in the NFL in the Colts. They have struggled to block all year. Even with a glimpse of the potential of this offense last week, I'm going to take the Titans. I just feel a lot more safe picking them. But in a divisional matchup, it makes things a little bit tougher. So, I don't know. I'm going to roll with Tennessee.
Yeah, give me the Titans. I don't think this is. I think your Colts looked really good against Jacksonville. Like I thought they looked really good.
It's also one game. I don't know if that's actually going to be like what we see
Yeah,
this week.
that's fair. I mean, yeah, I'm going Vrabel off of bye is like I think he's only lost one time. So yeah,
There you go.
give me Tennessee.
All right, Giants, Jags, probably one of the tougher games on the early
Yeah,
slate.
this is one they could bounce back, huh?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
We keep picking against the Giants and it just keeps biting us, right? So when's the time we actually say, you know what, let's pick them? I mean, I've picked the Jags both weeks now. Bitten me. So which streak comes to an end or which streak continues? This one's, yeah, I think the Jags are in a little bit of a flux. I think the Giants know what they've got going on. Give me the Giants.
So the Giants are in New York is the better team, as we can see from the record. But I will say this: the Jaguars are at home with the better quarterback.
Right, that's the problem.
In a game they need to have. I mean, the desperation factor is totally there for them. I'm actually going to pick Jacksonville. I
knew it. I knew you were going to take them. That's why I was like, that's why I was mad. Like I
feel bad.
It's there. I'm with you. The reasoning is there.
I feel bad picking against the Giants, but I don't know,
but the
man.
reasoning is
they
there.
gotta lose at some point. Like
I totally
agree
with you. Hey, Evan Ingram revenge game.
Sure, yeah, I guess that's a narrative too. There you go. We gotta grasp.
Yeah, no, I don't know. No, literally everything you were saying, I agree with. It's just really hard, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, that
one we might see some fluctuation come game time, but yeah, let's move on.
All right, let's see. Let's go Bucks Panthers. I mean, this is the ultimate spot for anyone who wants to bet on the Buccaneers this week. Tampa Bay is coming off a ridiculous loss, and now you draw a team with no coach, no quarterback, no motivation. I'm taking the Buccaneers. Maybe motivation in the sense they have nothing to play for, but like, I can't pick the Panthers. Like, I'm just not.
I want to say a couple things about this game. First, we didn't get to talk about it because we recorded on Thursday, but Tom Brady actually was not there the weekend. He was at Robert Kraft's wedding. So he left to go to Boston on Friday, and he was there till Saturday morning, and he missed walkthroughs. So that was a little bit of a, I mean, obviously Tom Brady's been getting a lot of these, we've been saying this a lot this year. Oh, it's Tom Brady. He's got the right to do that, right? Whether it's yelling at his own line, taking 11 days off training camp in a crucial month, right? Or going to the wedding. Look, you won't find a bigger Tom Brady supporter than me, but like some of it is a little bit off, right? Like, there's got to be a limit on the things that he should be allowed to do. So I think that was a little bit of a in play on why as they were looking good. And even Jason Kelsey was talking about it, like, sure, Brady has the right to kind of do it, but like at the one point, someone can also yell at him and say, hey, you have a football season to be playing, right? So that's a little bit of a thing there. And
but the thing is, who is going to step up and actually say that?
Yeah, right.
Tom
It's
Brady?
hard. And the thing is, Bruce Arians was the guy who he called out Brady in press conferences and up front. And what happened? He got demoted but promoted in a way, right? Like, he got promoted, but he didn't really want to step down as head coach. So, like, call it what you want. But also for the Panthers, now that I've kind of worked in, kind of a locker room and I've seen the behind the scenes, right? When you lose and when you keep losing, it's very hard to stay motivated and keep playing. And you can see that. And in guys like Von Miller, that was one thing I always brought up, right? Like, you're not going to see the true Von Miller when he's just playing in a bunch of mediocrity. Like, notice how he came alive when the games mattered, right? Like, it's just an incentive thing that these players have, right? Like, a lot of these guys are under contract, right? They've got their money. Like, is there really an incentive for them to go out? Like, you're just going to see a lot of that. And that really sucks for Panthers fans, right? You're not going to see a full-flown effort And I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope they still go out there and do it because a lot of guys will be on prove it deals, and those are the guys you're going to see try and really pop off. But otherwise, you've got guys under contract. Like I don't really know. So, it really sucks to say. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay, but I just wanted to throw those two things out there. I think that's something that we should really keep in mind.
Totally, and I agree. All right, let's move to the afternoon slate here. Let's start with the Texans and the Raiders. I'll let you start here, but Raiders are off a bye and they're at home. So it's a good spot for them. Who are you going to take?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think I've already said this. The Raiders are like the best 1-4 team I have ever seen. Like, I really don't know how this team is 1-4. Darren Waller is not going to be playing. Texans defense surprisingly it's played better in a lot of spots. I believe they're also coming off a bye. I think it's 2 teams off a bye week. Mm-hmm. Give me Las Vegas. I mean, like if they've looked good at home, at least in the games we've watched, right? They scored 20 in the first half against Arizona, and they pretty handedly beat Denver. So give me LV. If they lose here, though, there is nothing they could do to save their season. I am full on out. But give me the Raiders here.
Yeah. Again, I'll reiterate it. Off a bye at home. I mean, the Raiders are going to come out desperate. I think Houston might hang around for a bit, but I don't think the Texans have the talent to pull the upset. So I am also going to go with Las Vegas. We talked about him.
Not allowed a touchdown, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah. No, Stingley's been solid.
So I know we've been talking about Sauce, Tariq, Josh Jones. Hey, the first corner drafted is no joke himself. So.
Yep. All right, the Jets and the Broncos in Mile High. It cannot get. I said this last week. I mean, it cannot get any worse for the Broncos. Like, which is why I'm so inclined to pick Denver.
Oh, dude, I don't like that. We keep saying.
Screw it. No, I'm picking Denver. I know Jack's gonna take New York, but I simply don't care. I'm taking Denver. Something has to change. Something has to change. Like this something's got to give. Like I really believe that. Like something's got to get. This team is awful.
They always throw these tough spots on us, right? And you know what's funny? I know the Broncos have been in primetime 4 out of 6 weeks. They're in a late slate game, so you're probably going to watch them anyway if your team's already played. So, I keep doing it to myself. I keep picking against New York, and I think the New York Jets match up really well with Denver's offense. Give me New York. I'm heated though. Like this is because this is the game that the Broncos can easily bounce back. But at what point do I just give up, man? Okay, I'm seeing I'm glad we're on the Broncos really quick here. I just wanted to say this. You know what I'm seeing a lot of similarities of? I just want to throw this out there. Russell Wilson has been, I've never seen a 180 on a player in terms of like his standing in the NFL that quick. I mean, bro, have you heard the teammates that have been calling him out? Michael Robinson, the fullback when they won the Super Bowl. He said things that Russell Wilson has said is inhumane. I mean, like the Legion of Boom has been constantly like demeaning him, right? Like teammates have this is something that you would have never expected. I mean, and you know what's funny? Again, I heard this on a Coward segment, but a really good point. The whole Broncos country let's ride thing, right? He said that once or like twice in the video, right? And it blew up. You do realize when he was in Seattle, he said "Go Hawks" after every single press conference, every single one, and nobody batted an eye. Nobody cared, right? And he's still doing the "Let's Ride" thing after each. You know how he does it, right? He'll like walk off and be like, "Let's ride."
And it sounds terrible. It's crazy.
But it's an indication, right? Like they only care when you're winning, and I'm seeing a lot of similarities to Wentz in 2020. Both those guys are falling off. They're getting a lot of hate. This is really similar. I think it's
Go Hawks. That's simple. That's nothing cringe. It's Go Hawks versus Broncos country. Let's ride.
You're right. I know it's a little bit different, but he's just I've never
you can't say Broncos country. Let's ride out of the blue. And Go Hawks out of the blue will sound normal. But I mean, we could joke about that all we want. But I mean.
No, but the play is just dropped, right? He's 34.
I've said
he's got his money. That was really what it was all about. I've said this is the worst contract I've ever seen.
I'm not kidding. I don't think I've seen a worse contract.
I can't write it off like that. But I would say you're right, right?
But
Like you
Goop, they had 2 years to evaluate.
that's right. Yeah.
They jumped the gun.
So they put in so they've got him what till
They've got him until he's 40.
40. That's right. Yeah,
For the
because they
next
have to
6 or 7 years.
The extension doesn't kick in yet. Yeah, because I think he's still getting 34 right
That's
now.
bad.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
bad.
look, I don't know. With Denver, it's really tough to say just because, they have the second best defense in football. So, right. And like, how do you not blame the offense, right? How do you not? I mean, he's doing the same things, if not worse with than Drew Lock did. And
it's impossibly bad. Like
it's so funny because Seattle walked away with, and even after the Jamal Adams trade, which they got fleeced on, by the way, right? They walked in with 3 key players who are all at least getting playing time in Seattle, 2 first-round picks, an additional fifth, and they got an upgrade at QB this year.
Yep.
Nobody would have saw this coming, but
crazy.
Hey, yeah. So I got the Jets. He's got the Broncos. Let's move on.
Yep.
Just had to touch on that.
Niners Chiefs.
Ooh, is this the game where the streak snaps? Srikar has now gone 6 straight weeks of picking the Niners.
Okay, here's my thing. You've picked against them once.
Yeah, no, but you're the Niner fan here. So is this the first time you picked?
So it makes sense for me, but okay. If you guys want a McCaffrey update, it's been reported he's not going to get much playtime, and I kind of agree. I don't expect to see CMC in this game. San Francisco will keep the game close, if nothing else. I mean, power running, good defense, those things, it can beat the Chiefs. Dude, I'm keeping the streak going. I'm picking the Niners, man. It's become just such a thing at this point.
Thank you, man. All right, great. Because
I'll let you take Kansas City.
I'm going with the Chiefs to 100% bounce back. I was heated when Mahomes threw that pick. That was a flat out mistake. I mean, I was looking at quarterbacks today and I saw such a similar thing that a guy did to what Mahomes did. The throw to Teron Johnson, that's just something you don't. Mahomes just wouldn't do.
Miller.
Yeah, Vaughn was the clear difference.
Miller.
We've talked about the Chiefs-Bills rivalry so much. I can't believe we should have recapped that game. But okay.
We should have. But
yeah, it's okay. But just want to say.
We talk about them a lot.
Yeah. One thing, right? Like they're so even. If you look at the yards gain were the same. First downs were the same. Time of possession was nearly 50-50. It comes down to a piece, right? And I think Von Miller was that extra piece that the Bills had that day. And the Chiefs will get their corners back. That's why I'm not scared. Give me the Chiefs and a bounce back. Yeah.
No, that was one of my takeaways. These teams are dead even. Like they are 1A, 1B type of thing.
Yeah. And if Buffalo gets the home field, I think you're going to look at a very different outcome. But give the Chiefs to bounce back here.
Hey, and good edge pressure. We saw from Von Miller, good edge pressure can beat the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Guess who the Niners have coming back?
Yeah, okay. All right.
It looks really good, man. Like it looks
the streak
really,
continues.
Really good.
We've got another streak going, the Bear streak, and now we got the Niners streak. So
yeah, but the Niners streak is working out awesome right now. But let's move on here. The Chargers and the Seahawks. I'm gonna let you start here, but I'll admit I haven't even made my pick yet.
So this one is a little bit, this one's a weird matchup. Again, like I've said, Seattle is not bad. And I think they were overachievers coming in. And I think people are finally starting to recognize that. They've got some playmakers. My only problem, right, is, well, first of all, J.C. Jackson's been horrible. And I think Seattle can exploit that. But their offense has also been really inconsistent, right? You've got these great games against Detroit and New Orleans, and then you've got these stragglers against the Niners and the Cardinals recently. So what am I going to get, right? And that's why I'm a little bit less certain, and I think the Chargers are getting healthier by the week. So give me the Chargers here.
Los Angeles is a very, very shaky pick, if I'm being honest.
100%.
I mean, even when they win, they're 4-2. But the Chargers have struggled in almost every game this year. Like, almost every game. But having Justin Herbert at home against Seattle's defense, I think that's the play in my opinion. So I'm also going to roll with Los Angeles here.
Yeah, have you been impressed with the Chargers game yet?
No, I haven't. Genuinely haven't.
Maybe week 1, but they let up Devontae to really go
Yeah,
off. So I
no, that
don't
wasn't
know.
that impressive to me.
Yeah, I don't really know. So, again, teams like the Chargers, the Bengals, all these teams we had really good coming into the year just have not impressed me.
And you
So,
guys, I mean, if you watch the podcast, you know my thoughts on Brandon Staley. You know my thoughts on Joe Lombardi. I don't like either of them. Let's go Pittsburgh, Miami. Sunday Night Football in Miami. They're finally getting a little bit healthier. I think Tua Tagovailoa will play this game. And also, I think the Dolphins are just going to tee off on Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky, whoever plays with blitzes. So I'm going to roll with the Dolphins here.
Dolphins as well. I mean, look, great win for Pittsburgh. Cool, you beat Tom Brady one last time. I don't see it carrying over. I mean, the defense played really well, right? They played well in the red zone. I just don't think they're fast enough to contain with Miami's scheme. So give me the Dolphins here.
All right, and I will let you end it off. Bears at Patriots. We spoiled that pick.
Patriots. They are really good.
So the spread right now.
We haven't. See, here's the thing with the Pats, right? And I feel like we just don't. Even when they were good, they were always a 10 a.m. game every time. They like. Do you realize that they didn't really play primetime that much, right? Throughout their entire tenure, they were always the 10 o'clock slate, right? They would always beat down their opponent. You'd always check the score. Hey, the Pats won. Move on. Yeah, sure, we're gonna get them in primetime this week, but this is going to be a beatdown. I mean, sure, Chicago got it from Thursday to Monday rest. Great for them.
It's not going to matter. The spread is New England minus 7.5. I'm being for real. If the Patriots score 14 points, they're literally going to cover the spread.
Wait, 7.5?
Yeah,
I'm taking that. Okay, all right.
No, the Bears don't stand a chance in this one, but
a little bit of variance here and there, right?
Yeah. So we differed on Niners Chiefs, obviously.
Yeah, we differed on 3, I think.
Jets, Broncos, Giants, Jags. It's just 3.
All right. Well, yeah, I think the polls might have closed, but for the fans. But if there's anything again significant that happens, we might put it up again.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, again, we have a lot of fun with these. Every week it's a good way for us to kind of release, at least for me to release stress after a long week full of midterms. So thank you guys so much for watching. We've been the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast, and we will see you guys next time.